Great Family here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. In today's video, we're going to clear up a little something about modes and the pentatonic scale and a little bit of compare contrast kind of thing. You could say this comes from a question which is, are there pentatonic modes? I'm going to say no is the short answer, but I feel like I got to explain that a little bit. Okay, so in case you are not familiar with what a mode is, if we have a major scale, I'll take G. Okay, and not a G major pentatonic scale, what we call a diatonic scale. Now here's a little bit of theory, brush over this if you have to. Pentatonic scales are 5-tone, pentatonic. Diatonic has nothing to do with the number of notes in the scale. I don't make this stuff up, okay? Some genius somewhere along the way decided that we're gonna not use the same system for everything, okay? So diatonic means entirely representative of a key. No notes are added, no notes are removed, okay? So what that means is that in the key of G, you have the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. That is fully representative of the key of G. There is none left out. There's no extras. A G pentatonic only has G, A, B, D, and E. So there's no F sharp and there's no C. So it is not diatonic. It isn't the whole key. It's just some of the notes from that key. Hope that makes sense. I know, it's weird. It's a subtle difference, but hey, that's what we work with. So when we're talking about diatonic major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, we can modalize it. Okay, I don't know of another word to do this, to say this. We can start on the second note. Now we're gonna use all the same notes. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and A. Now it's what we call the second mode of G major, because we're still playing all of the same notes that we played in G major, but we're starting and ending on the second note. We're making it the most important. Notice that I haven't changed any notes, not a one. I've simply changed how I'm looking at it. I've changed which one is the most important. Okay, so since the second note of the G major scale is now the most important, it's the second mode of the G major scale. We call that the Dorian minor mode, if you care. You don't have to know that. Okay? Now, if I start on the third note of the G major scale, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Again, same notes. It has a pretty unique sound, and we call that the B Phrygian mode. P-H-R-Y-G-I-A-N. Okay, or it's the third mode of the G major scale. I can have a fourth mode, which is called the Lydian mode. The fifth mode is called the Mixolydian mode. The sixth mode is called the Aeolian mode, and it also happens to be what we call the relative minor. If this is the G major scale, E minor, E Aeolian, the key is the key of E minor. We call it the relative minor. F sharp. Whoops. Sorry. So F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Kind of a weird sound, and that's the F sharp Locrian scale, or again, the seventh mode of the G major scale, however you want to call it. Now I can have other modes. For example, I could take something like the G harmonic minor. Even if you don't know what G harmonic minor, don't worry about it. The most famous mode of that is the fifth mode. Okay, and that is called the Phrygian dominant mode, commonly. But it's the fifth mode of the harmonic minor scale. The other ones I never use, so I don't know how to tell you what they are. There's the jazz melodic minor, which you probably never heard of either. That's okay. The fourth mode of that is called the Lydian dominant. That's one I sometimes use. It's the fourth mode of the jazz melodic minor scale. Also, the seventh mode is called commonly called the altered dominant scale, or the seventh mode of the jazz melodic minor. Again, you can modalize. There's modes of all these different things. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy on that. That's fine. What about the pentatonic scales, though? Right? We have boxes. Okay, we have like G minor pentatonic. Okay, well, box 2 starts on the second note. So why don't we call that the second mode of the G minor pentatonic scale, right? And the third box starts on the third note, right? G, B flat, C. Right? Why don't I call that a mode? Why don't I call this the fourth mode? Why do I call it the fourth box? Why do I call this the fifth box instead of the fifth mode? To be honest, I don't know. I don't know that there's I don't know if there's a legitimate theoretical, like, official answer to this question, other than the fact that since this is not a diatonic scale, we don't speak in terms of modes. To my knowledge, there is no name for the modes of the pentatonic scale. We call them boxes on a guitar simply because of the fact that it's how they kind of lay out on a guitar. On a piano, there are no boxes, okay? So I think that's kind of why there's no modes, is because on any other instrument other than a guitar, they don't use them the way we do, okay? We have this visualization, these 5 boxes, right? But fundamentally, I'm still just playing the same scale. I'm just playing it at a different place, okay? On a piano, on a saxophone, on a flute, on a clarinet, right? Any other instrument, they're not going to do that. They're never going to play, if they're going to play a G minor pentatonic scale, they're never going to play it from C and treat the C as the most important note. It just doesn't happen in usage. So fundamentally, that's why we don't have modes of the pentatonic scale. It just kind of doesn't really make sense in usage. Okay, we do use the A Dorian scale. We do write music around that. Now, I'm sure there is somebody out in the world who has written music based around the third mode of the minor pentatonic scale. Like, I could imagine somebody has probably done that somewhere. But you can't harmonize a pentatonic scale without pulling in outside notes from the diatonic scale. So that even kind of probably wouldn't really work. And I know I'm getting into a very heady theoretical discussion here, and I get that. But I just want to make it clear that you can't really harmonize it. You can't harmonize a pentatonic scale. You can't build chords out of it because you don't have all of the notes that you would need to build those chords. In a diatonic scale, you can do that. So again, without having all of the notes available, you have a problem. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And hopefully you kind of have an understanding now of what modes are and why the pentatonic scale is not a mode. And I realize this is not like, hey, play this cool lick. This is not that kind of lesson. Probably should have told you at the beginning. But if you are more interested in modes, I do have a Modes Unleashed course, actually. I just thought of that. So you might find that interesting. I'll try and leave a link near this video. I think modes are really cool. Modes can work great for blues. The Mixolydian and Dorian modes in particular are really, really fun for blues. You can add in the blue notes with those and they have a great sound. Sometimes it's very cool. So I actually use it a lot. So something that you may want to consider. But as always, hope you dig the video. If you've got guitar playing friends that perhaps have this question, you can send them this way or send this video to them. And I'm Griff Hamlin. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.